I mean, so again, obviously missed opportunities there Friday night, right? Lots to learn from, lots to grow from. Again, guys did a good job coming into the building yesterday. You know, we've got to do a great job in the critical areas that matter most to every single game, where we came up a little bit short on Friday night, right? I mean, it's the turnover battle where obviously we didn't give any up. We had a nice fourth down stop, but I think there's opportunities that we left out there to make plays on the football and generate turnovers, right? Obviously, the explosive plays we did not generate near enough, and they generated quite a few. And then, you know, the red zone scoring opportunities, anytime that you trade field goals instead of touchdowns and you have those missed opportunities, you know, you're going to come up short in those tight ball games that we've been in, that we know that we're going to be in, with, you know, all these coming down to one possession games, 4-quarter fights. So again, opportunity to grow and learn from that as we move forward. That is all part of our process, and as we know to it. And I know the character of the club is going to shine through, and we're going to have a good week of preparation to go play a really, really good opponent on their home turf. And you know, our best is going to be needed, because that's who we are and that's what we're about.
Sean, what's happened to your defense?
Can you be more specific?
You're giving 400 yards per game, 1,000 yards the last 2 weeks. Doesn't seem to be what it used to be. What's your assessment?
Last week, right, that New Mexico team's a very good team. A lot of explosive playmakers. Coming into the game, they were averaging close to 35 points per game, and we limited them to not even close to what they had done. We talked in here a week ago how they had scored over 50 points numerous times. The biggest thing is that we got to do a good job with the explosive plays. We got to do a better job on third down. But as a whole, to put a blanket statement that what has happened, there's been a few plays that we need to be better at, right? But all in all, you know, they're playing consistent, they're playing well, and we can continue to get better as we go forward with it. But it's those areas in particular where we need to get off the field when we have the opportunities to do so, especially in critical moments when we need to get the ball back at the end of the game, and we need to limit the explosive plays as well. But again, they've Boise aside, right? The one time where we did not put our best foot forward, which has happened to quite a few teams that Boise has played. You know, we did a nice job and put ourselves in a position to play winning football, you know, the last time that we went out.
Sean, what could you say about UNLV's special teams? Because it seems like I haven't looked at recent metrics that you have, but it seemed like at one point this year their special teams is as good as any team, if not better than any team in the country. How have they been able to do it?
Yeah, I mean, they have really good players playing on their teams, right, that have bought into that phase of the game. I mean, you know, their outstanding wide receiver, Ricky White, is accounted for 5 punt blocks this year, right? I mean, so he's doing it and impacting the game in a lot of different ways. And then obviously they have dynamic returners, but, you know, for those returners to make the explosive plays that they do, they have guys that are completely bought into that phase of the game. And you can tell that they use it as a weapon for them to swing the momentum of the game in big-time ways. I mean, huge kickoff return that sets up, you know, their one first-half touchdown against Hawaii, right? Puts them all the way down, you know, on the goal line so they're able to punch that thing in. So again, good players, you know, good scheme. They do a really nice job week in and week out, giving you different wrinkles. And again, those guys play exceptionally hard in that phase of the game.
They've got 3 guys. I think you have at least 3 interceptions apiece. Are they just good ball hawkers, or what do you see in their defense that makes them so good at picking up?
Yeah, I mean, very opportunistic. They do a really good job in their zone coverage where they're able to keep eyes on the quarterback, and then very advantageous when they get the opportunity to do so, right? I mean, they have, I believe, 17 total turnovers on the year, right? So they're active to the football. Their linebackers have exceptional range. Like, it's amazing the number of interceptions and just tip balls and PBUs that they have been able to, you know, make and produce this year by reading off of the quarterback vision. So do a really nice job. And again, you know, talented players that can play well in space and do a really nice job of finishing at the moment of truth.
Anything with Danny in particular to be more mindful of that?
I mean, shoot, as we were walking in here, right, on his day off, he's in the building watching extra tape, right? He knows the quality of the opponent, and, you know, again, making him aware of what the windows look like. And again, against, you know, this caliber of talent and the amount of range and athleticism that they have, again, just making sure that he's very aware of what's open versus what's not.
What else do they do defensively in the first 2 lines of defense that stands out to you?
And again, they're a multiple front team, right? I mean, they have 2 dynamic edge players that are able to contain and compress the pocket, and then both their linebackers do an exceptional job, right? They came over with coach from Arkansas. They have good understanding of the system. They play well in space. You can tell, you know, Woodard, number 7, their captain, he drives it. He makes sure that they're all, you know, communicating and tied together, and plays with relentless effort and a really, really high motor, and they're just relentless to chasing the football.
Sean, how would you evaluate where your team's at right now, you know, from 10,000 feet, maybe weighed against where you thought you might be or wanted to be, or you ahead of schedule, behind schedule, on schedule?
Not to where we want to be, right? I mean, I think there's, you know, you kind of look at it and you always assess where what is successful, and that is, what we're capable of and what we've done. And so I got to do a better job of making sure that we're closing that gap, because there's been a few key plays throughout the course of the year that we all can point to in different moments throughout the season where if they go, our way, because again, we're tied into the attention to detail, a sense of urgency that things need to happen to get done, then we'd be, in a much different situation in terms of what the overall record would be, right? So no one is satisfied, no one's content, but the thing you guys will learn about me, through all the years, not just this year, but we could be undefeated right now, and I'm not going to be satisfied, and I'm not going to be content, and I'm not going to be to where I want to be, right? And so we're going to continue to grow, we're going to continue to develop, and know and understand that no matter where we are, whether it's year one as we sit here going into week 10, or it happens to be week 10 going in, or year 10 going into week 1, you're going to ask me, where are we? What does it look like? And I'm going to say, hey, it doesn't matter where we are right now, we got to get better. And I'm not satisfied, and success is never final. We're going to continue to push, and we're going to continue to get better.
Before the season starts, everybody's all glad to see you wherever you make an appearance, and then,
Sure.
then it gets going, and not quite what a lot of people are hoping for. What do you say to fans who are either impatient or frustrated at this point?
I appreciate their enthusiasm. I appreciate their passion. I appreciate their support, and I hope that they know and understand that it's going to take the whole community to build this to the level that we know that we're capable of building it to, right? That's going to take their support in this era of college football to where we're going to do our part, and we're going to continue to develop our kids, but we need the community support to show up and to pack Snapdragon and to give us an unbelievable, unmatched home field advantage, right? If you can give $1, if you can give $100, you can give $100,000 to help us link the whole community of the 619 and give to Aztec Link so that we can retain our talent, we can develop our talent, and we can do all the things that Aztec fans have been longing for that we need to do, but we need to know and understand that the vehicle to make that happen in today's era of college football is the support and the resources that are needed to do that, right? But again, I understand and I appreciate, if they don't want to say hello to me when they see me in the streets anymore. I get that. That's the burden of leadership that I signed up for, and that's fine. And that's what makes, what's stepping into the arena that we get to step into and being one of the public faces of this university. I welcome that, and I'm very happy to be at a place where the expectations are so high, but I promise you no one's expectations and no one's standards are higher than my own and that we have for this program.
We'd be glad to hear that a chat board poll overwhelmingly says you should at least get 2 years.
That's good. I appreciate that.
What's the challenge of trying not only to implement a new system as a first-year coach, but do that with players, the majority that you didn't recruit, so you didn't match them up to that system necessarily, and to have such a unique system?
Yeah, man, I think it's the fun challenge that you get to do each and every single year, right, of constructing your team, constructing the roster, and getting 105, 115, it was 115 individuals this year. It'll be 105 individuals next year, right, with the House settlement and everything that's coming down the pipe. But to get 105 individuals plus staff members plus coaches plus everyone within the program aligned and going forward on the same page collectively together, that's going to be the challenge, again, with where we are each and every single year, to who can get a group of individuals collectively together as a team, and to get them connected, to get them, consistently playing together, getting them to know one another, and getting them to have the self-discipline, not just blind obedience, but the self-discipline to do it to the way that we're asking, because they know and understand the vision, they see the proof of concept with which we've done, and are eager and excited and care deeply about football and each other for the team's success. So that excites me. That's it gives me the juice. It gives me the energy each and every single day to do what we do.
Getting back to Vegas, you've run through a gauntlet of pretty diverse quarterbacks in the last 4 weeks.
Yes, sir.
How good is Malik Williams compared to the other guys, or how different is he?
He's really good. And he's in that tier 1 category of quarterbacks, right? He makes great decisions with all the things that they ask him to do. He's very, very efficient in the throw game. His touchdown to interception ratio is exceptional. And again, they started with a different kid at the beginning of the year, and they didn't miss a beat, and honestly have continued to roll through it all as they've gone. So he drives it, and he does a great job with it. And he's a very, very talented kid that can hurt you and impact the scoreboard in a lot of different ways.
Run first or throw first?
Both. He's a true dual threat quarterback that they force you to contain him in a lot of different ways. And it's not just him. I mean, they got dynamic playmakers all around them, right, that, again, stress you out. And, again, it's a testament to the job that their staff has done, the accumulation of talent and their community support and the way their casinos have stepped up and the way that everyone in that, again, community has rallied around their program to make sure that they have what they need to be successful and to have the depth and the quality of talent at this level, to be successful.
Coach, talk a little bit about Marquez. He seemed a little frustrated with his performance the other night, saying he maybe wasn't patient enough getting through his holes. Talk a little bit about the game that he had, and I'm just checking. He has 220 carries. He had 285 carries in 2022, 227. So he's used to carrying the ball a lot.
Yeah.
How do you see any difference in how he's running now compared to the beginning of the year?
No, I mean, Coop is used to a high workload, right? I mean, that's what he craves that. He welcomes that. And again, like for him to speak on, him being upset or frustrated with his performance, again, speaks to, one individual within the organization that has an incredibly high standard for himself and for the team and looks at it like, hey, I can do more. I could have been better so that I could have helped the team win, not for any other reason, right? And I think when you have a lot of guys that think that way, again, good things are going to happen over time. The unfortunate thing is that we're running out of time for this team, for this season. So there's got to be a greater sense of urgency. And, for Coop in particular, right, he's guaranteed 3 games left in his college football career. Like, that's it, right? And beyond that, I think he's got a good future, right? But you never know what's going to play out at the next level. So for him, like, he sees both for this team, his college career, and individually, right, like that sand is running through the hourglass. And so he knows that, hey, like, there's certain moments Friday night, there's certain moments throughout the course of the year where he feels that he could have done better, right? And again, like, that's that personal ownership that you're looking for, right? Because then that empowers him and gives him a sense of great agency that he's in control and that he can make the changes that are necessary so that as a team, we can get the results that we know that we're capable of.
What's the significance in your mind that he has a chance to rush for 1,000 yards for the 4th straight season?
Again, I think, like, if you ask Coop, that's the floor. That's the bare minimum that he's going to be looking to do. So again, like, anytime that you have that amount of production and that amount of consistency, I think that speaks to the greatness of that one individual, but all the people in the building, right, that are helping him and setting him up to do that, right? It speaks to the work that the O-line has done, and a lot has been made about that group. But I mean, again, like, the resiliency of that group and the injuries that we've had to position Coop in the position that he is, right? It's a testament to the hard work that those 5 guys up front are doing to clear the path, for him to hit a benchmark that, you kind of just, I guess I take for granted because that's just what Coop does and that's just what he's done every single year that we've been together. But, I shouldn't just, brush it off that that's what he does. I mean, it's an exceptional achievement for him to be able to do.
You could also say something about this era that it would be 3 different schools for the first time that a guy has done.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be more commonplace for where we're at. I mean, shoot, you go through and you look at, guys on our roster, guys every single week. I look at, the scouting report and you kind of looking at, all right, where's this young man from? What's been his journey? I mean, and there's guys, that we're about to go play that, I mean, shoot, UNLV is their 4th or 5th school that they've been at. And that's just, again, that's what it is, right? And again, you got to adapt and you got to, move and pivot with that as you go.
Coach, speaking about that adaptability, before the season, Aztec Fast was all about tempo. The game against New Mexico, 88 plays, 30 more plus than the opponent. Can you just speak about the offense's evolution in terms of being able to vary that go versus grind?
Yeah, I mean, again, like, we're going to be loyal to winning first and foremost, right? Like, from the very beginning when we sat in the interview process and everything, right? Like, yeah, we have a brand of football that we're going to play, but I'm going to be loyal to winning, and we have to have all the different pitches in our arsenal offensively to be able to go super fast when need be, but then slow things down, right? And be able to play and manage the game so that we can win it, right? And again, like, at the end of the day, we did not win, right? Which means that we got to do a better job of managing the situations and picking and choosing the different paces of play that we're going to play at, right? But, playing at tempo consistently for the majority of the time, I feel gives us an advantage, right? That we're able to drive the play count up, which then historically and traditionally, and as we've seen this year, right, allows us to finish drives with touchdowns and not just field goals. And again, that's where we got to do a great job, with the attention to detail, with our strain, with our effort, with our finish, and all those things in those critical moments, that when you have a 13-play drive, a 15-play drive, a 16-play drive, that those don't settle and end in field goals, but that you've drag your opponent to the deep end, and you're going to finish and put the ball in the end zone because that's who we are and that's what we're capable of doing.
Is this flip thing harder than you imagined it would be? Did you think it'd be 3-6?
Again, guys, like every single day, I try and put a good day down. Right? We talk about having a +1 mindset that today is going to be the most important day and that the results will take care of themselves. So I think if you go back, we can check the recordings and everything else, right? Like, hey, what are the season's expectations and everything? I only talked about putting good days together, right? And helping this team get to the highest level that they can possibly get to. And again, that's where, again, like, whether it's the fans, whether it's Coop, whether it's anyone, like, no one is, more frustrated, right, than I am about how close we've been and where I can be better to lead the organization so that at the end of the day, the results are what we all want, right, and that we're all chasing and that we close that gap so we can be as good as we can be. And that's the journey. That's the fulfillment. That's the walk. That's the process that we're on each and every single day, not only as a team, but helping these young men be the best versions of themselves that they can be. And again, like, this is the time where we get to do it. Like, we got to come into the building yesterday and get better. We get to come into the building today and get better. And that's who we are, and that's what we're about. And again, we'll look up at the end of the year, and the record will be the record. And there's that old adage of you are what your record is. And I get that, and I understand that. But it's a spot for us to then, again, grow and get better from.
We had about 3 decades of struggle before this staff came in. What do you think this staff's been able to do that's allowed them to show so much success the past 2 years?
I think they've done a great job, again, adapting to the current environment of collegiate football, right? I think they've done a great job in their roster construction, in their talent acquisition process, in, adapting their schemes to fit their personnel that they've been able to acquire. And again, they've taken a group of individuals that buy in and believe to what they're doing, and they play with a passion and a purpose each and every single play. And it's a testament to their leadership. It's a really good job.
Anything else, Coach?
Coach, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 games, rather, the opponents have had more explosive type players, and there hasn't been as many opportunities for tackles or lost sacks. What's been learned about getting to the opposing quarterback, in these more explosive sort of offenses?
Yeah, I mean, the past couple weeks, right, it's been more run first, right, off of it with everything. So, again, those opportunities that maybe we had earlier in the year where we were playing more pass first offenses, right, allow you to pin your ears back a little bit more and go hunt the quarterback, where, again, with the balance of offenses the past couple weeks, right, like those opportunities for just straight drop back passes haven't been as prevalent as we saw earlier in the year. Cool. Thanks, guys. Go Aztecs.